Welcome back to MTFC TV. Joining me at this time is the new sponsor of our media team and the sponsor of the media box up here at the Proxcar Stadium, Joshua Smith. Josh, welcome on board.
Thank you.
Why Matt Lutzel, first and foremost?
We've got a brilliant working relationship with the club. We always have done. It's a great level of football. The club itself have always been very family friendly, very hospitable. When we started this business 8 years ago, Matlock were one of our main teams because they were fantastic with access and content and assisting us. We're very, very proud in recent years to have been able to return that favour. So we do a lot of work with the club now. Matt Rhodes in particular, who sadly is not very well tonight, so he's not here with us. But he's obviously working for us, but he works as part of the media team as well with yourself and the club. And we're very proud to have that working relationship. So when we had the conversation with the chairman, it was a no-brainer.
I know we aren't the only club you're sponsoring as well. You've got a banner up at Belper Town. It seems to be very encompassing. You want to put Derbyshire non-league football on a pedestal. Is that something you're very keen to do with the Derbyshire Media Company? Yeah,
that was where we started out all those years ago. It was we saw, for want of a better phrase, a gap in the market. We saw a lot of non-league teams. We love non-league football. We're all passionate about it. It's a huge community asset and they're so undercovered. BBC Derby, to their credit, of course I'm involved with as well, do a lot of work in non-league and it's great. But when you look at the coverage that Football League clubs get, and even Chesterfield nowadays, albeit in the non-league, we see teams like Matlock and Alfreton and the others not getting the coverage they deserve for the quality of football and the prestige that they're at.
And as well, first time I think ever in my 11 years, certainly that I've been here, the media box has been sponsored. I know you're obviously very passionate about football, you're very passionate about media. Where did your love of media come from?
Oh, that's a good question. I found when I wanted to get to university, I had a young son at the time and I wanted to do something for him. And I sort of fell into it, I suppose, and just really enjoyed it and went on from there. In terms of sponsoring the press box, it was a case of we wanted to try and non-league teams, well, all football teams need support now more than ever. And we wanted to do something to help. And we saw player sponsorships and things like that. And we thought, you know, that's something that everybody thinks to do. Let's try and think outside the box. Let's do something and trailblaze, I suppose, to try and get local businesses involved in other ways. And we saw the press box and thought, you know, it makes perfect sense. So hopefully we've set that marker down now where we've sponsored something a little bit different, a little bit more unique. Hopefully other businesses will do the same, not just here, but across Derbyshire.
I know, as you pointed out, Matthew Rhodes is a big part of what we do and, of course, what you do. He's not here tonight, as you say, because he's ill. How important was Matt bridging that gap? I know me and you have known each other a long time.
Too long.
Yeah, well, some would say. But to have someone like Matt, and, you know, you've got Holly, you've got other reporters coming through, is that something we'll see more from DMC in the future, more upcoming supporters, journalists, more keen voices coming from not just Chesterfield but Derbyshire as a whole? Yeah, we hope so. We've always had a really good record of taking on up and coming aspiring journalists, postgraduates, and giving them a platform, and we've had some great testimonies of people who've gone on to fantastic stuff, and we want to be that springboard. You know, we don't hold people back at all. Matt and Holly, you mentioned, they're integral to what we do. They've been a huge part of the company's success, particularly in recent years. And we're happy to be part of the setup at Matlock. You mentioned there, Matt bridges that gap. Matt's exceptional with what he does both here and with us. And to that end, that's why we're not just sponsoring the press box, but also the media team, yourself and Matt as well. And I know what we take as a club. I know myself, Chairman Bryn Appley takes his great compliment as well. You brought your young family down here tonight. Is it a ground you like coming to in particular? What is it about the Proxcar Stadium that makes it feel like a family environment for you?
Well, yeah, I said earlier, you know, that was one of the reasons we picked Matlock and Belper as the clubs that we're sponsoring this season, because we've always felt very welcome as a family. Whenever I let the club know that I'm coming to a game, the first question is always, are you bringing the kids with you? Which is always great as well. It's a very proud moment for me personally, because this is a business I've built up, as I say, for 8 years now. And this is the first time we've took out sponsorship anywhere. So it was a very proud moment. So I wanted the family here, and I'm pleased they're all here as well. But whenever I tell Rory I'm going to a game, his first question is, which game? And if the answer is Matlock, amongst others as well, but Matlock is one where he always says, can I come? And straight away he was asking if you and Bryn and people are going to be here, because he's made to feel very welcome. And sometimes when you take your kids with you when you're working, it can be quite challenging. You can feel a little bit self-conscious because you worry about other people. But it's a club where it's always been very clear, bring the kids, and people are always helpful and happy for them to be here. So yeah, it's a very, very family club.
Definitely. We're always pleased to host you, of course, as you know. It's always lovely to see young families from the area, outside the area, get involved in non-league football. But how prevalent, and you know as well, how prevalent, likes of Sky Sports, BT Sports in people's homes. So anything we can do to get more people down here is always key. Now, if I want to find out more about DMC, Derbyshire Media Company, where would I go on the internet? Where would I go on social media?
Well, we've been quite clever with this banner because we've not actually put the website or any contact details on, because the way the world works now, of course, is everything is Google, everything is Facebook. So we've stuck the Facebook and the Twitter badges on there. We've put the name of the company on as well. We've got the one at Pitchside as well, so that people will find us and go from there. But we do have a website, derbyshireMediaCompany.co.uk, nice and simple. And yes, we're on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Well, I'll finish things off. I'll not ask you who your favourite media personality down here is, because I have a feeling I might not come out too great in that survey.
Well, listen, everybody at the club we've ever worked with, under the old regime, the new regime, the old managers, and everybody in the media team, we've always worked well with everybody. James, yourself, obviously, you're an exceptional part of the club. Tireless work as a volunteer, but Matt, of course, working with us directly day in, day out, he's an exceptional talent. We're one we'd like to keep hold of, but I'm sure we won't.
I know I've said the same more than once. Matt's work rate is incredible, and I'm sure we will both send you a tenner off camera for those lovely compliments. To finish things off, if I had to ask you to pick one Matlock Town player who would be your favourite, who would be your standout to watch this season, what would your answer be?
Oh, that's a good question. It's weird being on the other side of the interview as well. It's harder than it looks. Alex Byrne has been amazing on the wing. Every time he puts the ball into the box, whether it's from set piece or open play, you feel something's going to happen. I've got a real soft spot for Craig King, the homage with the beard. He was at Alverton for a short spell and he was really nice, great to work with. Came here, again, great to work with. Had a lot of bad luck with injuries, but he's back now and it'd be great to see him. But Ross Hannah, for me, I'm so impressed with the way he's played since he came back to the club. It's like he's 25 again. It's the way I keep explaining it to people. He's just rolling back the years. You wouldn't know that he's a player coming towards the end of his career. He looks like one that's getting started all over again. It's like he never left. But the whole squad is looking... I know that it was a bad result Saturday. No one's denying that. But there's a lot to be excited about this season.
Right, I'll let you get off, get some chips with your young family.
Sounds good to me.
Thank you very much for coming down. Thank you again for your sponsorship. And we look forward to seeing you throughout the season. Thanks, Joshua.